Folks, there is so much. So hello and welcome to Domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. This is a coffee mug that my daughter got from Geek Grind, a coffee place that also has coffee mugs. What do you say down there? Something. There be dragons and great coffee. That's cool. Anyway, in our coffee mug is the Organic India Tulsi Original. Stress relieving and energizing. We need a little bit of both right now. This is one of the various sips by teas that I'm trying to get through. It's going to be a while, folks. Let's give this a sip so we can get started. It just started steeping. Oh, that's nice. I think that's a tea that I would, it needs to steep a little more. It's a little heavier on the sweet side because the tea is still working on it. Yeah, that's real nice. I'd think about buying that. So anyway, we are doing a Bright Ladies today. It's been a while since we've been bright. And we're going to combine that with one of our notes from home. Warning, rant ahead. It gets heavy, and it's heavy in the politics. So, but you know what? A lot of people say it's just politics. It's not just politics. It affects lives. People who did not really realize that for some reason are probably noticing that now, that it really does affect lives. Anyway, we are going to be using 3 palettes. One of them is no longer in production, but we are using the Fresh Prints from Glamlight. And we are using the By Us or By US Garden Busters. Those are both still available. However, this Lurella Tropic, like it's hot palette, is no longer in production. So if you were interested in redoing this look, you would just need to find some replacements for these greens here, this orange, and this pink. I think that's it. Oh, and maybe this pink. So some variation on those colors, and I'm pretty sure those colors are available somewhere. It's just that they're not necessarily all in the same palette like this one. Anyway, if you're interested in this Notes from Home, which will also explain why there's been a delay on doing more videos, what's been going on with me personally that has caused this delay in more videos, or in this look, which I'm liking. Anyway, I have that moment when we're putting it together where I'm like, I don't know about this. I'm liking. So if you're interested in any of that, just keep on watching. All right, so we're going to start with the Lurella palette. One other color to think about is this pink. So we're going to use that pink for starters. Alrighty. So, it has been a week, you guys. I spent a lot of time. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to dust. I forgot to powder. So we might be having some sticky issues because I forgot to powder. Duh, Dommy. Anyway, as I was starting to say, it's been quite a couple of weeks since our last notes. We had another snowstorm. I liked snow when I was a kid. I'm not such a big fan of it now as an adult. Anyway, it got really cold and I spent most of that week in bed, but most of it was not because of the snow. I mean, the snow helped because it was freaking cold. It was cold. And we keep our We keep our heat down. I think it's at 68. Even in the winter now, because, yeah, you can always bury yourself in more blankets. But our heating bills have just been... And this time, even keeping it down didn't help much. If we were keeping it up to where we normally keep it, my bill would have been just outrageous. So, but yeah, so that was part of the reason I stayed in bed. I also think I stayed in bed because I seriously needed a time to just crash. Just crash. The world got a little too much. Now, for us, immediately, we're fine. My husband's job is fine. In fact, he's working. It's kind of fine. In fact, he's working a little bit more hours this past week or so. You know what? I'm going to grab some of this Bel Air for the other part. We put a little bit in. We're going to take some Bel Air. Whoa. It is supposed to be bright ladies. Anyway, so he's fine. We are doing fairly well. I did have a hiccup last week in terms of finances. And I think most of that is because my brain just kind of shut off. It shut down for a little bit. It needed to shut down for a little bit, in all honesty. I don't know how my orange is going to go over this, but we will see. That ended up being a lot brighter than I thought. You know, my daughter is working okay. She's got a few things going on that are stressy, but nobody's been hurt. Nobody's majorly sick or anything like that. And in fact, one good note, assuming it doesn't get annihilated by Trump, is that hopefully next month, my husband and I will get into the doctor. We're going to need to, because my blood pressure medications are kind of wearing out. So health-wise, we're mostly doing fine. Job-wise, we're mostly doing fine. Like I said, a few hiccups here and there. I'm going to go and put on some glitter glue so we can do the green. Actually, we're going to do more than just green, but we're going to start with we're going to do with a pink and a green. Told you. I'll be right back. All right, so I put that 2/3 equation across on one eye. We're losing a little bit here. We'll do this eye after I finish the whole lid on this eye, just because I know that the glitter primer dries out a bit when you do them both at the same time. It just doesn't work. All right, we're getting back in that Lurella. Hello. We're going to get into this sandy cheeks for our inner corner. Anyway, so, but the thing that was just really getting to me, I think last week, and I shut down, was, you know, a lot of these executive orders and shit that's going on affect my people, affect me. And I don't know if you remember last time he was president and did all this deportation shit. I'm not even going to get into it about undocumented, whether or not they're legal or illegal, or I don't think any person is illegal. They're undocumented. The thing is, the last time he did this, not only did he leave the white owners of the businesses, I know down here in Georgia in particular, alone. I actually picked up legal residents, documented residents, or people who were born in the U.S. and had never left the country. he picked up some of those, and they were held in detention. Add to that, yeah, we're going to need that orange. Add to that, at least a couple of them somehow got deported. Now, I don't know where they got deported to. I don't care. They went to countries they'd never been to before because they were born here. Anyway, I'm Puerto Rican. For those who don't know history, first of all, Puerto Ricans are American citizens, okay? And so for those who don't know about Puerto Ricans much, one, we're a territory of the United States. But we didn't get granted citizenship, I can talk, until like 1917. And even with that, they have a representative that they vote for to go into Congress, but she can't vote, or he can't vote on any of the bills that come up. So Puerto Rico has no voice in Congress, even though they have someone in Congress. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. And those on the island, oh God, that's beautiful. Those on the island can't vote for president. But they do get taxed. You're looking at a territory that has no voice in Congress, can't vote for president, was only granted citizenship in 1917. Now, I was born in 1963, so by the time I was born, this was a regular thing. I was born a citizen, okay? My children were born here in the mainland U.S., so they're citizens. Except now they want to get rid of birthright citizenship. Do you think I'm going to be able to be a citizen for long if they manage that? Now, there's a whole thing about how he can't do that. We're going back into this. I'm grabbing the screen here. This love at first sight. There's this whole thing going on right now that he cannot do that because it's an amendment and you can't just turn down an amendment, and it's going to have to go to court and be told that you can't do that. Honey, have you paid attention to Trump? He doesn't care if it's legal. None of them do. They don't care if any of this shit's legal. And from some of the crap that the Supreme Court has allowed, the Supreme Court doesn't care if it's legal. I'm going to take a little bit, so there's still some on here. I'm going to try to blend these in a bit. Just like that. I love it. I like that. I don't know about the pink so much, but I like that. Let's see if our orange will help out. I didn't actually completely think through whether or not this color combo was going to work. We shall all find out together. Anyway, I don't trust the Supreme Court to not go, He's president. I mean, they've already said that he's immune from, that presidents are immune from being prosecuted for anything they do when they're in office, as long as it was for the presidency. So breaking the Constitution is fine, apparently. Yeah, I knew it was going to be more than just the immigration. I honestly believe that they used that interim with Biden to sort out exactly how to do the things, because they got to watch Trump do what he was doing in his first term, and they went, well, let's do it more. But let's figure out how we can do it and get away with it. So that's one of the reasons why the Supreme Court is stacked the way it is. Okay, I'm liking this. You guys can hate it, but it's a bright ladies. Okay, it's supposed to be bright. We haven't done one of these in so long. So like I was saying, the Supreme Court has made it pretty clear that what Trump does, they're fine with it. They're fine with it. I think that was part of what writing P25 was all about. It's their game plan. I know a lot of conservatives don't believe that, but we are watching that game plan play out in real time right now. He's done a number more of illegal things that he shouldn't be doing, but nobody cares. At least nobody from his base cares. None of the Republicans care because the Republicans don't want to give up power. I don't know what the fuck is going on with the Democrats. I know people like AOC are being vocal, but the majority of them don't seem to be doing much. Don't seem to be saying much. And I have to wonder if they're like, okay, so we tried to be progressive and all of that. We got Trump anyway. So why bother? We've got our money. We're getting paid because they are. They're getting their salaries and they're getting their bribes, and they're getting their, stuff that they get from being being in the stock market. They're getting theirs. So I have to say that really annoyed me about Kamala. It was like she just disappeared. She lost. She conceded way too early. There was not a single sound of them going through and checking the votes or anything, because, and I think that was all a thing to lead to today. I can understand them going, well, we're not going to do that because we don't want to sound like hysterical Republicans saying that the vote was rigged. But honey, they have downright practically admitted that the vote was rigged. Trump has at least alluded to it about how Elon fixed things. So she didn't even try to do anything to see what was going on with that. I get the peaceful passing of power, and they were trying to show that they're different than Republicans. But there's a point when you've got to start using the Republican playbook, and we are well past it. Republicans have been rude, have not cared about law. I will say, I'm being kind, that I do want Democrats to care about law. I want them to care enough that when it's being broken, they fucking do something about it. But regardless, I cannot trust when people sit there and goes, well, it's an amendment. They can't just make birthright citizen go away. Have you guys watched the Republican Party? They don't care. They've got the Supreme Court in their pocket. As much as I hate to even think that way, there is a really good chance that sometime soon I will no longer be American citizen because they will have somehow overturned that amendment. Are you fucking kidding me? And if I'm not a citizen, guess who else will not be citizens? My children. Are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, I am now angry about it, obviously. But when last week, folks, I couldn't even get out of bed. It was not just the cold, I will say, because I also found it very hard to do any of the things that I enjoyed. Art. I managed to do some for here on the channel, as you know. But I have a notebook that I'm sketching in, and I couldn't do that. I just couldn't even look at it. Most of you know that I really, really enjoy my working on my family tree. I couldn't do that. I barely even opened my computer during that time. I'm one of those people who cannot do the family tree on the app. I have to do it on the laptop. The app confuses the hell out of me. I'm showing my age. I couldn't do that. I wasn't eating right. My sleep is still screwed up. I just kind of lost myself. It was just such a shit show that felt aimed at me. And I know it wasn't aimed just at me. I know it was also aimed at the disabled, at the LGBTQ, when they did the two genders things. He has done so much shit. And people are just like, I mean, come on. I know we've got to fight our battles. Choose our battles, I should say. But can you at least be vocal about all this bullshit? Now, some of that, can you at least be vocal? Maybe because the mainstream press seems to have completely given in to this man. I don't remember much as a kid for news. I don't remember much of politics as a kid. My family wasn't like that. My family didn't talk about politics. I know my dad, my stepfather, would watch the news, but that was boring shit to me. I didn't watch that. In fact, I didn't do a lot of TV watching back then. I'll be honest. I lived in places where I could be outside, and at that time, that's what I preferred. I do know from listening to other people that the news back then tried to hold our government accountable. Tried to hold our government accountable. Tried to hold our Congress members accountable. Now, mainstream media is like almost completely right-wing, right-biased, and they ignore a lot of shit. I have to say that's one thing I probably regret about leaving TikTok. All right, I'm going to get into this purple pool house. Yeah, I was out at that point. But I will say one of the things I miss about it is getting news. Real news. Not this crap that's being passed around as news. It's actually a tidbit of something. I mean, most news stations haven't gone as bad as Fox, but they're not holding Trump accountable. They're not saying the truth about him. Come on. Oh, I may have needed to go with a darker purple. This one isn't much darker. It's less pinkish in tone from this palette. So we'll try this, see what happens. And maybe I just need to go and get my glittery purple. Anyway, so I'm really annoyed that the news just isn't doing its job. It has given in, and it's not telling us what we need to know to protect ourselves. Okay, this will work. So we'll get back. So I wasn't doing that. I would have the TV on, but honestly, I wasn't really paying attention to it. I played a lot of games on my phone. I slept a bit, but it wasn't restful sleep. So yeah, I've been really annoyed with this whole thing. It hit me very hard, and I just needed to go through and process, I guess. So that's why the videos have been so few, and have been mostly the art. Because I couldn't, if that makes sense. I couldn't. I just couldn't. I can't even tell you. Like I said, my eating schedule was off. My sleeping schedule was off. I just was struggling with all of it. All of it. I struggled. I needed that time, though. I just really needed to just shut down, let myself feel it. I'm already doing what I can do, what little I can do. I'm not going out except for doctor's appointments, vet appointments, things like that. And so there's not really much I can do in terms of being out in the real world without risking myself, which risks my son. And a couple of things about that. The other adults in this house work. They kind of need me around to take care of him. Because they don't work. You know, it's like neither one of them can work in where they work overnight type shifts. So they can't even have their jobs in such a way that one is home while the other one is working. They need me here to keep an eye on him. This is one of the reasons why I'm not allowed to die right now, by the way, because none of my girls are ready to take him. Take care of him. He cannot be left home alone. I think my youngest thinks he can be, but he can't. He can't. He can feed himself and clothe himself. I mean, he can feed himself to a degree. It has to be something he can microwave. He cannot actually cook on the stove. We are not prepared for him to do cooking on the stove. That's a no. But so he needs supervision at home. You can't really, no one can afford, even if I were to go to work, we couldn't afford. So my girls who don't have, extra people in the house contributing to their financial well-being, for the most part. I mean, they have their significant, one of them, two of them have significant others, and my oldest lives with us. So, but beyond that, when it comes to finances, they're on their own. So if I couldn't go to work and actually make it worth it, so to speak. So making it worth it, it would have to be able to pay for care for him. And even though he is high functioning, he's still autistic. So, excuse me. So even though he's high functioning, he's still autistic. So he would still need someone who understands autism. I'm adding a little bit more of that orange up top here. It kind of got disappeared. I don't want it disappeared. I want that orange. I'm really liking that. I am going to have to do some fixes. You can see. But that's basically just taking the... well, we'll just go ahead and do it because, hey, I'm still talking. But if I can't afford someone who understands autism, which would be a higher price than a regular, quote-unquote, sitter for the day, they can't either with their single incomes, their low incomes. What I think I was trying to say, and not saying well before my husband came home, is that, and you'll have to pardon the sniffles. I've been struggling with this weather. It's crazy. But what I was trying to say and not saying well is that for me to go to work so that I could hire somebody to watch my son, totally ridiculous, but for me to go to work to hire somebody, I would have to hire somebody to watch my son. So for me to have work be worth it, I would have to be able to pay for someone who is get down from there. Anyway, I would have to pay for someone who knows autism fairly well, relatively well, so that they can, be prepared for anything he needs in terms of that. He's high functioning, so that they wouldn't need to worry about him having any kind of episode or anything. But you still need to know how to work with it. And you wouldn't want someone watching your autistic child who did not understand autism to at least a degree. And they're going to cost more than a regular babysitter. So in addition to that, I would also need to be able to pay for, the work clothes, the transportation, all of that. I already pay for makeup, so that's not on my list. And plus, actually, to make it worth it, I have to make enough to cover all those things, plus actually make a significant, have enough left over to make a significant bonus to our household income. And unfortunately, that would not happen for me. And it's definitely not something my girls are prepared for. So, as we were talking about, in terms of me being detained, they need me here to watch him. For those who are not in the U.S. who might be watching me, the U.S. does not have much in the way that helps with like putting in a group home or something like that. And even if it did, I wouldn't trust it. I really wouldn't trust it. I know that things have probably been at least a little bit cleaned up since the last time I saw reports on group homes in the U.S., but I would never trust it. The amount of abuse alone is left. So no. No group homes. And then, so me getting caught up alone is a problem. But also, just thinking about the possibility of my son getting caught up. Fuck no. Fuck no. Personally, I can't imagine. I can't imagine I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I mean, that is just way too much. We're talking about a child. They probably wouldn't give him his meds, which is also a problem. He wouldn't understand where he is. They wouldn't know. Just the amount of damage that would happen to my son if he got caught up in one of these raids is absolutely terrifying for me. I mean, just no. We're going to go with no. So we're going to go back into the tropics. We're actually going to grab this other one up here, this palm tree. Same to you. So we don't go anywhere. We don't risk it. We only go to vet visits, doctor visits, things of that nature. Yeah. I'm just not even risking it. So the whole thing just truly pisses me off that my life is impacted in this way. And right now, that's as a citizen. It's just as a citizen. I have to worry about it because even though I can show that I belong here, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm using my shade switcher because I'm going to use the same brush. That doesn't necessarily mean that I will be fortunate if I ever got picked up to be released right away. They've made it pretty damn clear that they don't care if your skin is brown. If your skin is brown, they don't care. They don't care. Go away. I'm going to get into the Tropicana again. Yes. And we're going to grab this color. You know what? I'm going to grab Jungle. Where are you? Jungle right here. This light one. Put that underneath. And then there's this other thing. I have to dig into it deeper, but they, I guess they sent them to Colombia or something. But they sent some people off. They deported some people. And like I said, I'd have to double check the whole thing. Yeah, they're just basically targeting anybody brown, including Native Americans, for fucking crying out loud. They don't have any place to deport those. So Native Americans, will probably end up in a fucking detention center like the Japanese were. So there's that. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's the biggest tip of the iceberg that was affecting me. But that's just a tip of the iceberg of what's going on. I'm feeling lost and overwhelmed and betrayed because my own brother voted for this man. He had to say, we weren't, this wasn't against you. We weren't trying to hurt you. Give me a minute. Because of my rage. When he first said that, my reaction was, oh, you know what? Maybe he didn't think about me being brown. I mean, that's possible because I'm only half Puerto Rican. We were raised together. So maybe he just literally didn't think about it. He didn't think about it. And then I thought about that. He didn't think about it. He didn't think about it. He didn't think about the fact that all this shit went down in Trump's first term. That we've seen all of this. And he didn't think about his family. I had already decided not to go for Christmas. This is the other part that's just absolutely trippy to me. I'd already decided not to go and visit them for Christmas. I don't know if I mentioned that at any point on this station, on this channel. But after, and I told him, you know what, that, we're not going to come for Christmas. And I was going to do some more thinking about it. And then he asked, he did a group chat thing. And he asked, does it help to know that we didn't mean any harm to you? That it wasn't personal. I'm your fucking sister, bitch. Anyway, he wanted our input on it. He got our input on it. And then he didn't say anything for a long time. And during that time, like a week or so, I got to think about it some more. And at the time, I finally wrote him. And I said, yeah, I think we're going to stay away for a while. I said, I don't want to impact your relationship with my son, who does not understand any of this shit. So you're welcome to come and get him and see him and all the things, because I know you'll protect him. This son of a bitch. Okay, so this goes to something else very quickly. The CEO murder. Keep in mind, I still think murder is wrong. But I understood that situation in a way that my brother didn't like. That man, as the CEO of a health insurance company, to me, was a mass murderer. Because the company that he's a part of, all insurance companies, if you think about it, has policies designed to do one thing, and that is to limit customers getting the care they need. And for many of these customers, those limits have been deadly. So in my personal view, even though the government has allowed this to go on, they're a company, they're just trying to make a profit, we're going to go ahead and let them kill people to do that. The guy was a serial killer. He was a mass murderer on mine. And the government wasn't going to do anything about it. And he was obviously fine with doing what he was doing. So, him getting shot, I want to figure out how to phrase this. To me, him getting shot was the same thing as taking another serial killer on death row and actually putting them in the chamber. I am on a fence with the death penalty. Let me make that clear too. I don't think we should have death penalties unless they're heinous criminals, serial killers. Because someone who is out there killing 10, 15, 20, 30, 60 people, we've seen that, they aren't going to rehabilitate. They like killing people. And I can't say that this man liked killing people, but he apparently had no problem with it as long as he got paid. So that's a problem. So as far as I'm concerned, his murder was just the death penalty. He got the death penalty. Y'all can go ahead and think I'm a horrible person. My brother did too. And my brother decided to tell me, so we've seen this about how you feel about this, and we find that abhorrent. So we don't want to have contact with you anymore either. And I was just like, okay, so you are going to say that the problem, that me not liking, but also not having a problem with a guy who has allowed hundreds, if not thousands of other people to die from the need of medical care, a rich man who doesn't give a flying fuck about you, that attitude is more heinous than you voting again in such a way that you're voting against your own family and taking care of your own family. All right. Okay, so finish the wings. And yes, I always fill in with a liquid liner, even though I use the Fantasy Maker to do the actual lining. This will resist my tears to some degree, but it doesn't fill in the cracks and crevices of my eyes, unfortunately, because I'm old. I'm old. Anyway, so at that point, I was like, I'm done. I would probably never speak to him again. He cares more about this person, about my opinion about this person he's not related to, doesn't know, has allowed other people to die. He cares more about that opinion of that than the fact that he personally has caused harm to his family with his vote. I can't. I don't understand that man. And I will never speak to him again. My rage is absolutely, I can't even express it to you guys. I'm filled with it regarding him. And he's also done, I'm using the same brush, and we're getting into this fig purple that we used above to line underneath here. Oops. Let's fill that in. Anyway. I just forgot what I was saying. At any rate, I'm pretty much done with the white part of my family. I can't even anymore. I know not all white people are like this. I know a lot of you are fighting for us and are as appalled with all this as we are. I know you are. I had to deal with my emotional fallout from all of that. So I was pretty much down for about a week and a half, week and a half, where my functioning level was just minimal. Go to the restroom. Sleep if you can. Oh, can't? Okay. Read if you can. Oh, you can't do that? Play a game. Short-term things that my ADHD could focus on for a moment. I had to deal with all that. And then, my son. My son is my godsend in so many ways. I finally took a breath after going through all that and said, it's time for me to get back up on my feet. So I'm going to continue to do the things that I do. I'm going to continue to do the things that I love, including this. But, yeah, I was in a really bad place. And I can imagine that that bad place can come back at some point. But for right now, we're in the place where I'm going to go finish off the rest of my face. We will do our opening and our closing and all those things. And so I should be right back for you. So this is our final look. I did have to do repairs on my inner corners. This is no surprise, right? We know how my eyes work. But here we go. Close up. I like it. Like I said in my opening, I like it. I really do. I like it. Honestly, if you're into bright colors, I think this is just, I really like this. And I do have my eye on another pair of frames that I want to pick up that hopefully won't be quite so in the way of the makeup looks that I do, because this heavy part up here is kind of a killjoy when it comes to the makeup. So I saw another pair of frames and I'm thinking about picking them up at some point, hopefully soon. So like I said, I really like it. Everything performed the way I thought it would perform. And most of the stuff, you know, these are the Bright Ladies and the Cakespirations are all supposed to help me use up makeup I already have. They are not supposed to focus on new palettes or anything of that nature. So, you know, I've used these before, and that I really do highly recommend both of these. I like Glam Light. I like by US. Top 5. I want to see more before I say this is in the top 5. I would really like to try more palettes, but so far this is the only thing that they've released. So hopefully they'll come out with something fairly soon. This shirt just likes to go slip sliding away. Anyway, so to finish up, there is yeah, I needed the downtime, and but now I think I'm on not necessarily firm footing, but better footing than I was. And I'm more prepared to, you know, build up my strength a little. I need to do a lot of building up in a lot of different ways. I have been struggling with getting my yoga to be regular. I'm trying to work on that. And I need to find my groove again. And yes, the world is burning around, well, the United States is burning down around me. And I do have all these other risk factors that I have to think about for myself and my son, and to protect myself and my son. My daughters, I worry about my youngest because she is dark skinned like me and my son. My middle daughter is really white passing, so I don't see that she's going to have too many issues. Unless somebody gets into her, you know, starts looking into, like, who's your mom? Stuff like that. My oldest is somewhere between me and her, so she's lighter, but not light. So I think my daughters will generally be fine. Like I said, my youngest would be the one that I would worry about the most in terms of being looked at because of her skin tone. Profiled because of her skin tone. But this is insanity, folks. This is insanity. And they said that they would take the worst of the criminals, but no, they're going after anybody who's got brown skin. It breaks my heart that this country is not, well, it is the country I grew up in. When I was younger, I was not as aware of the racism. I was raised in an all-white family, so I was raised white. I was raised to think white, to feel like I belonged white. I mean, I didn't, probably on some subconscious level, did recognize that there was a difference between me and them. Yeah, I don't even know how to end this other than that I'm grieving this country. And I'm terrified for me and my son and my daughters. I shouldn't have to protect myself and my son. I shouldn't have to lock myself in my house. We are planning to go out to dinner on Valentine's Day. It's a very late dinner. And I guess now anywhere I go, I'm not even sure that would help, honestly. I was going to say, I guess now anywhere I go, I guess I better take my birth certificate. But I'm not sure that would help. There's way too many who do not realize that Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States and that Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens. So, I don't know. Where does that leave me? I don't know. I'm going to go out to dinner and spend it with my husband. I really want to, but I have to think about everything we're going to do in a whole different way now. And white people don't. Not yet. And I don't like talking about race that much. I should talk about it more because I am BIPOC, but I don't know, folks. We all just got to do what we can do. Whatever you're capable of doing to help your not white neighbors, family, coworkers, whatever. Whatever you're capable of doing, please do it. Help protect us. That's all I can ask. Anyway, that is it for the day. After all of that heavy discussion, we're going to move right along, taste our tea, and get on out of here so my husband can make some dinner. I want some dinner. Salmon. Anyway. Still a little heavy on the sugar, but I like that. This organic Tulsi. In the way, I have double bagged this, but it is very lightly flavored still. I'm going to take this upstairs with me. I'm liking this. I would love to hear some of your thoughts, but let's keep it civil. Don't make me shut down the comments on this post. Keep it civil, please. And I'm probably going to lose some subscribers over this. Oh, well. I haven't hit 1,000 yet, and I probably never will. So, if you don't like my political views, I'm sorry. You just go on your way. It's fine. We're fine. It's all fine. It'll be fine. But yeah, go ahead and comment down below, like, share, subscribe, do all those YouTube things. And in the meantime, as we all know, I love my girls. I love my dragonettes. And I hope you have a good one.
Hey, monster. Say hi. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Is the door not close enough? Huh? Just... You are such a weird cat. Oop, bye.